No, okay. We looked at the AW, Savannah. Okay. Again, I'm trying to keep the two classes somewhat in sync, but we're out of sync right now. They're somewhat ahead of you, so I'm not quite sure what we had covered. Okay. Köppen, in his infinite wisdom, decided that in this alphabet soup that B climates would be those climates where the potential evapotranspiration is greater than precip. In other words, the arid and semi-arid climates. And what we have here are several reasons for arid and semi-arid environments. And Köppen realizes this, and he identifies two major categories of bee climates. And these are not divided by the alphabet soup, but the causes. There are two major groups of causes that Köppen has identified. Now, first of all, we should realize that about a quarter to 30% of all land area would have bee climates. It is the largest climatic zone on planet Earth. So between 25 and 30%. The reason I give you that range is I think one textbook says 25, the other textbook says 29, a third one will say 31. So basically a quarter plus. But it is the largest climatic classification for planet Earth. Okay, Köppen's system basically identifies the major zone, and that major zone is north and south of the equator, about 20 to 25 degrees north and south of the equator. If you look at this map, that zone would be right through Central Africa, into Southeast Asia, across Mexico, and then in the southern hemisphere, right along the center of Australia and parts of Central America. In this zone, this B zone is in what pressure system? The subtropical high. At this point, the air is descending. As air descends, what happens to temperature? Try again. It heats up. So as air is coming down, it heats up. What happens to relative humidity? It drops. So descending air is warming up and drying up as it's coming back to the Earth's surface. And it descends right in that 20 to 25, 28 degree range north and south of the equator. So anytime you have a high pressure system, it is going to be dry. And so right across that zone, we have this massive descending air mass called the subtropical high. And it results then in desert-like or semi-arid conditions. In addition to that, now that's the biggest one. That's the biggest reason for dry environments. In addition to that, Köppen identified minor reasons for dry regions. And if we look at the dry regions, we find that outside of the tropical zone, we can go into areas such as northern China, Mongolia. By the way, what desert's up there?
Gobi.
Gobi Desert. So some of the driest deserts are in this area. It's outside of the subtropical high zone. If we look at this region of southern Russia, again, it's outside of that same zone. It's outside of subtropical high. Look at the U.S. Get up in this area, again, it's no longer in the subtropical zone. So there are other factors that play a role. The major one is continentality. It's in the center of a continent, several hundred miles from a large water body. And that explains the Gobi Desert, that explains the deserts of Nevada, to a degree, New Mexico, and so on. So continentality, away from a large source of water. Third reason, but again a minor one in comparison to these, is the leeward side of mountains. The leeward side of mountains. If you look at the U.S., in this area, okay, dry area up through here, dry area up through there. Again, those are on the leeward side of mountains. You get up in this area and you have mountains along the coast here, leeward side of the mountains as well. And South America, what mountain range is this? Andes. So in this area, leeward side of the mountains, you have a relatively arid or semi-arid environment. What mountains are in the U.S.? Oh, the Rockies are way in the interior. What's closer to the coast? What? Okay, Sierra Nevadas, if you're in California, what about Washington, Oregon? Cascade Range. So you have literally two mountain ranges. And as that air sweeps up and over on the windward side, literally water is extracted, comes down on the leeward side, and it's basically dry. When you think of the state of Oregon, do you think lush green or you think deserts? Green. Typically people think green, but Oregon has one of the driest deserts in North America. Eastern Oregon, for all practical purposes, is either a desert or a steppe. Extremely dry because, again, it's on the leeward side of the Cascades first and then the Rockies. So, in Washington State, eastern Washington State is semi-arid. It's not arid, but semi-arid. Again, because of the two mountain systems. That was the third factor. Fourth factor, cold temperatures. Cold temperatures will lead to low precipitation totals. And again, as we push into Canada, on the eastward side of the Rockies, cool temperatures are a factor as well. And lastly, cold ocean currents. Cold ocean currents are responsible for dry conditions in various areas. Here in Chile, right in the tropical zone, along the coast of southern Africa, along the coast of northern Africa, along part of the coast of Australia. Cold ocean currents are responsible for desert environments. The driest area on planet Earth is a desert in Chile that's adjacent to the ocean in a tropical environment. So when you say typically tropical environment, coastal position, you would think a lot of rain. In this particular case, 0.03 of an inch annually. Not 0.3, but 0.03 of an inch annually in Chile. There have been periods of 15 to 18 years without any rain at all. So we're talking dry. We're talking bone dry. And the reason for this are the cold ocean currents. I believe we have talked about upwelling. Did we not?
What?
Upwelling.
I was on a test though.
Yeah, I was on a test, so I think I mentioned it once you spoke.
No.
What's that?
I got that right on the test though.
You guessed right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, upwelling is a condition of the ocean where water surfaces from great depth. If we look at the equatorial area, our winds are what? Typically along the equator, north and south of the equator. What do you have? Think of the sailing ships. Think of the Spaniards. Oh, right on the equator, yes. Just above, just below, what are these? Trade winds. Don't ask it as a question, say trade winds.
Trade wind.
Very good.